This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good morning, everybody. So that was Ricky with First Rate Inspection and Tammy Schroeder with Veritas Title. So I'm going to start teaching. I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on DotLoop. If you guys want to take the basics class, please get in with Cheryl. Cheryl, she teaches a class on the second or the third Wednesday every month on how to get the basics set up, your profile, and actually she teaches on a couple of other things that I'm not going to be teaching today, like how to set up your templates and whatnot. I'm going to show you. She says the third Wednesday of every month. She does it live. You can go in, you can watch her, and she'll show you how to do profiles and DotLoop. A lot of agents have been having asking just basic questions on how to pull things in. And I know a lot of our experienced agents have not been able to attend those classes. So here's just an extra class for you. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to log in. If you guys don't have an account, just shoot me an email and I would be glad to send this to you. All right, so let me hide my screen. All right, so these are all my loops and that's going on in DotLoop right now. The first thing you need to do, if you haven't done so already, is you need to set up your account information. You go to the top right hand corner, click on the little bubble, click on my account, and if it's brand new, then you need to set up your information. Okay, there's two spots where you set up your information, under account settings and under your profile. So I have several profiles, and my personal profile is the one I'm going to show you today. I'm going to set up my name, my information, and then I put in the broker's license, the Abby MLS ID number, my broker ID. That is what I use to log in the MLS with, and my license number. The reason why it's important is when you go to link your associations, it is going to pull it's going to log into those associations by using your license number or your login information. So you can link all your associations, add in Abby Realty's information, and then you hit save at the bottom. Okay, so this is speed training. All right, I'm going to set up a new loop. I have set up these loops in ways where it's very, very easy for you guys to work with. So I'm going to go through every single one of the loops and I'm going to show you what I've done to make it easy for you and what you need to do when you're setting it up. And then if you have odd documents like this COVID-19, how to add it in and how to change PDF files into fillable forms. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a buyer's loop. So my buyers right now, I don't have a house yet. So I'm going to do my minions. Okay, so my buyer's names is the minions, and I'm going to select buyer representation document, hit continue here, done here. All right, and then I'm going to click on and I'm going to open up the files, and all the documents have already populated right here, every single one of the documents. If you go down to the bottom right here, always add your role. So because you're representing the buyer, you're going to set right here, Abby Realty is going to be the buying broker. I'm going to be the buying agent. And I'm going to add in my first buyer. All right. And then I'm going to add the person, and then I'm set. So now I have myself, the broker, and the buyer. And if you do this properly, all you got to do is click on the documents, go in, click on autofill, and most of your documents are already going to be filled out. So right here, you have your IABS is complete. I don't share from inside the document. I go back out, I do the buyer's rep, and I autofill again. and I always go through the forms and I check everything right here. Just because there's text in here doesn't mean it's the correct text. You have to go in and edit the information. So just make sure you edit all the information, go through all your contracts and fill it out. I'm going to go ahead and save it and go back out. So once you assign roles, you now have all your basic information in there. That does not mean that all the typed in text is correct. You have to go in, edit it to make sure it fits with you and your client. So make sure you go through and check everything, okay? So you have buyer documents. You typically go in and you fill out all these documents, and if you find a property, say you want to make an offer in on a property, okay? And you want to link this account. So you'll go into view details and you're going to add in the properties. So right now I have a listing 10320 Barwood. Okay. If I go in and click on it, and that's my login for HAR, it'll link the account. I can import the data and it'll bring in most of the information. And then when you go to do the contract, some of the information is going to go through and some of it's not. So you go into the 1 and 4, you're still going to go through and complete the forms, but now you'll do your offer. And you'll get some of the information to fill out. Okay. Always add your lot block and your legal information. But now you have most of your forms filled out, and you're just going to go through all the forms and do pretty much the same thing. But don't, just because it autofills doesn't mean it has all the information you need. You still have to go in exclusions, put in your title company, and select who's going to pay for survey, check the membership information and whatnot. But these forms makes it really, really easy for you to fill out. You don't have to go in there and insert text and blocks all day long. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to go back out. So you should be taking the contract classes, but you'll learn how to do all these forms in a different class. But once you're ready, all you have to do is click on them, and then you can share it with your client. And it just says 21 fields assigned, and all they can do is sign. So you can type them a message, please sign, and hit share. And that's it. You just have to know what these forms are all about. I advise you read your documents before you send them out. So then let's go in and then let's do a new loop for you. And we're gonna create a listing loop. This one's a little bit more interesting. When you do a listing loop, you typically have an address already. So I'm just making one up. And do a listing representation. I think there might be people in this chat that knows how to do this better than I do, but I'm going to show you the way I do these. I'm going to, again, first things first, I go down to the bottom. I change my, I change myself to the Abby to the listing broker, myself to the listing agent, and then I'm going to add my sellers. So my sellers in most of my mock transactions is going to be the Ravenclaws. Okay, so I got the seller right here. I'm going to add person. I typically prefer to have an address or mailing address when I plug in my clients. Just right now, I'm just giving them an email address, and that's sufficient. So I'm going to go in. Information about brokerages is the same thing. The listing agreement is pretty much the same thing. You're going to go in, make sure you do your legal description. You're going to do an autofill. It fills out as much as possible, but you still have to fill out the lot block information and whatnot. You know, answer all your questions On the listing agreement, a lot of people always forget to fill out the, is your client a foreign national or not, right? Foreign person. So make sure you go through and still answer all the questions. So what I want to show you in this listing, in the listing documents, is when I do my listing package, I actually send out everything except the seller's disclosure and the lead-based paint. I'll send all these documents to them first, and then I have them sign it first. And then once they sign, I now know that I have the listing agreement. Then I'll go back in and say, like, your seller's exclusions list. All you got to do is hit autofill and you let your clients fill out the rest. So you'll do the same. Would you like to leave? Yes, I want to save it. You'll go in and you'll do an autofill on all of them. And all I'm doing is just opening them up, clicking on autofill. And what this does is it changes the rule to the document, and it allows for them to now fill the document if you send it to them properly. Would you like to save? I know I'm going really fast, but I'm also recording this. I train my personal agents the exact same way. So I autofilled all these documents, and what it'll do is it'll just plug in the address. I don't know if the address is pulled in, but you'll click on the seller's documents right here. And because you already have all the other documents signed, you know you have the listing. Sometimes it takes a day or two for them to do the seller's disclosure. You don't want these seller documents to hold up the client sending the listing agreement. Get them to sign everything first, and then go ahead and share the documents that they have to fill out. So I'm going to share these. And then the big thing that a lot of people forget to do is change this right here to a can fill and sign. I send this after I get the listing agreement. So I'll share it with them, and now they can go in and they can sign, and they can fill out the forms and answer all the questions. And then when it comes back, it will say signed. And it could take them a day or 2 or 3 days or whatever it takes. And in the meantime, you can go and get pictures done, put your signs out and whatnot. I'm going to go down here, and I want to show you also, when you're taking listings in your DotLoop, I also put this single family HAR. I have it for all the other different types of properties also, but you can actually fill this out as much as possible. And then if you don't know the questions to a lot of things, you can actually ask your clients, hey, could I fill this out with you, or could you fill this out and answer as many questions as possible? This right here correlates with your matrix. So in the past, you know, if you went over there and just asked them a bunch of questions and you forgot to take room measurements, you end up having to go back because matrix will not let you submit without room measurements. Right here, the questions are all right here. You're able to collect information. We don't require it to be done, but if you're new, or if the house is super old, like 50 years old, and there's no updated MLS information, you might want to go ahead and take this with you to the listing and have your clients fill this out with you. Okay, so this is called a single family HAR. It's just a data input sheet, and it's going to help you fill out your matrix information. All right, would you like to save? I'm not saving. So that's your listing loop. All right, and then I'm going to show you the other loops that we have in here. Representing, I'm going to do a tenant representation, okay? And typically you're going to write your client's name. I'm just going to go ahead and put Minion Lease. Okay, I'm going through these and I'm picking out things that most agents, they don't know or they don't understand how to set the documents up. So for the listing, separate the documents, the ones that needs to be filled and the ones that can be signed. In your lease representation, the mass confusion is with the applications. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to do a tenant lease, and I'm going to pull out tenant representation. Okay, this is when you are looking for a property for someone to they're looking to lease out properties. Okay, so I'm going to hit continue, and perfect. I'm going to hit continue. I'm going to go straight in. I'm going to create the loop. Okay, so I'm in the loop, and you do the same thing, your IABS, your tenant representation, and also you would want to go ahead and do your broker notice to tenant just to have that on record. Your lead-based paint, I'm going to probably take that out. It should be provided by the listing agent. You're going to go in, you're going to autofill these documents, and you're going to send it over to your clients to sign first. Sign and initial. These three needs to go first. Okay. Once you have these, then you can start taking them out to go shopping, and then you have your applications. Okay. The applications are a little more tough. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to put Abby as the managing broker. I am going to be the tenant agent. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have Alfred Minion as a tenant. But I'm actually going to add Caitlin in as a second tenant, so I can show you what you need to do when you have multiple tenants. All right, so I have two tenants. I'm Abby's the managing broker, and I'm the tenant agent. Okay, and let's just pretend that we've already gotten our broker notice, our buyer's rep, and our IABS signed. Now they found a property and they want to put in an application. Well, you go to lease applications at the bottom, and what you need to do, what you need to understand is that if you have Alfred and Caitlin and you share with them the same document, what's going to happen is when you send it to them and you can fill and sign and you set them up as can fill and sign, when Caitlin fills out everything, she'll sign it, then you have an executed application. But then when Alfred goes in and signs right afterwards, Alfred is going to overwrite and delete everything that Caitlin did, and now you have two people fighting over one application. So what you want to do with this is see how I changed, see how I have lease application for tenant 1 and 2. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rename, click on the three dots at the end right here, do rename, and I'm going to put Caitlin. And then I'm going to rename Alfred at the bottom. Okay. So then I'm going to click on Caitlin's name, and then I'm going to go to the autofill button at the top. I'm going to change the first one to Caitlin, tenant 1, and the second one I'm going to do no one. Okay. All right. So then I'm going to put in a listing that I might have. So I can't, 8426 Wendell. I think that's a listing I have that's still up. There you go. So I'm going to import the data. Okay, it's linked to another loop, so it's not going to drag it in, but you can import the information from the MLS. You could do the rent, $1,700, security deposit, $1,700. And then you can tell the landlord, hey, they want to move in on the 1st of April. And then you just hit on autofill, okay? I think I messed it up whenever I tried to pull. Let me do another address. Okay, let me do it again. Okay, so this time I'm not going to import it. I'm just going to click it so it has an address. So that way it will auto-populate. Okay, and then I'm going to delete Alfred's name, and I'm only going to keep Caitlin's name in here. Okay, so it'll typically autofill just the basic information. The number one thing you want to do in an application is check right here, and you're going to type in your name. So that way, when it goes over to whoever it goes over to, it shows that they are using a real estate agent. I've seen other real estate agents put their own information in there because one of my agents didn't plug in their names. And I'm like, nope, you got to send it back and say, no, we're representing our own client, because if it goes to a property management company, it's whoever's name is on this application that's going to get the credit for it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my name right there, and that's it. I don't really fill out anything else. You can put in the address, but you can actually use the same application for multiple addresses. So I'm going to put the information there. I'm going to save and share. And I'm only going to share it with Caitlin, the first tenant. And I'm going to change it to a can fill and sign. And then I'm going to share it with her. And then I'm going to go back out. And I'm going to do the exact same thing for Alfred. Okay. I'm going to do the autofill, fill out the same information. We'll remove Caitlin's name. I'm going to do an autofill, and I'm going to hit save and share. And I'm only going to send it over to Alfred to fill and sign, and they'll be able to send it back to me. Okay. And once this comes through, what you can do is you can also download information. So if they send you, if the landlord says, I want bank statements, driver's license, ID, or whatever it is, you can download it from your email. They'll probably send it to you in email. You'll go to add document. You can now browse onto your computer and check to see where you've move this window. I don't know why it's clicking. Can you guys see my this window is blinking? Move this window away from shared application. It's not letting me do it for whatever reason. You can click on browse and a screen is going to pop up. Mine is just blinking. Select the items that you need to select, and you can add it on here. And what it'll do is it'll download on the screen. You'll select it, and then you'll add in any kind of driver's license or security information, and you'll share it with the other parties. Okay, I can't work this. I don't know why it's not letting me do it. But what I'll do is I'll hit share, and there are people who, the other agent, I didn't add the other agent's name. So let's just say I'm trying to add it to Frank as the other agent, okay? And that. Okay, so let's just say Frank's the listing agent. I want him to view only. I'm going to select the documents, attach or the docs, and then, you know, applications for 1, 2, 3, 4 address. And then what you're going to want to do is you want to attach PDF to email. People who use DocuSign and zip forms, they don't want to mess with DotLoop. They don't know how to use it. So the best thing for you to do is attach the PDF to email, and then it'll shoot over to them in as a link and also as a PDF attachment. Okay, so I'm not going to send it to Frank right now, but that's how you're going to do it. You're going to hit attach PDF to email, and you can hit share, and it'll shoot over to them. Okay, so then I think there's a couple of other loops. I'm going to go to your apartment loops. And all it is apartment representation form. You only need your IAVS and your broker notice to tenant form in here. So you're going to do the same thing. Every single loop you need to add roles. What you need to do is you're going to have your client's initial and sign both of these forms. You do an autofill, and then when you're done, you'll send the invoice to the apartment along with the W-9. So fill out this information to the best of your ability and make sure you attach the W-9 to it, and then you can send it to, you can send a copy of it to the other agent or the property manager, and then you upload a copy to back agent. So that's it for the apartment invoice. And I think we only have one more loop, which is it's the listing for a lease. Okay, so the lease listing is the same thing. You go into these documents right here, and you do the same thing. You do your IAVS and your listing agreement. The hardest thing about a listing agreement for a lease is you actually have to sit there, and you can't just go and get this filled out without talking to your client, because down here at the bottom, can't think of what page it is on, you actually have to sit here and you have to ask your client. So if I'm taking a lease for a landlord, I would go ahead, open up page 9, and while I have them on the phone or I'm sitting in front of them, hey, can you tell me what do you want to charge for late charges? How much are the pets going to be? Are you going to allow pet security deposit? All this stuff. This has to be answered by your landlord before you can get them to fill out the listing agreement. So you can go ahead and knock this out first. And then you go back, you plug it in, and then you do everything else on the listing agreement. Put in your showing time information, if your protection period, your commissions, the lot block, and the legal information. All right, so that's the only difference from a sales and a lease. So you'll have these two items, and typically right after I take a listing agreement, I go ahead and start drafting up the lease. So as soon as I have applications in, all I have to do is fill out the tenant information, and everything else is already complete. And these are all your optional documents. So those are all your loops. So now I'm going to show you, if I can make it happen on this screen, I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to change PDF files into into fillable forms or forms that you can sign. So you're typically going to get your PDF files from the other agents. So I'm just taking in an offer and that I received from another. It's just an old offer I forwarded this morning just for the class. Ooh, I got lots of emails. Okay, so let me see. Hold on. Alrighty. Okay, so right here, I have an offer for my listing at Plover. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to download it onto my computer. It's a 1 in 4 third-party financing and a pre-approval letter. Okay, I typically want my offers complete with seller's disclosure and whatnot, but an offer is an offer. So I'm going to download it onto my computer, and then I'm going to pull the address, and I'm going to type in Plover, and then I'm going to upload it. I'm not going to upload the training into my current active listing, but I'm just going to do this in the sample listing. I'm going to open up that loop. And what you're going to do is you're going to add document. You're going to click on templates. I'm sorry, not templates. You're going to browse, and you're going to browse your computer, and mine is blinking. My screen's popped up, and I don't know why it won't show, but I'm going to go ahead and find it in my computer on downloads, and it's going to download right here. Okay? And then I'm going to organize the documents. I want to move my 1 in 4 up, my third-party financing and the pre-approval letter. And so I'm just going to show you guys how to add the signatures onto this document. So what you'll do is, let me make sure I have a seller first. Cedric. Seller. Okay. All right. So I'm going to open up the document, and I'm going to go down to the bottom where it says seller. Cheryl actually teaches a real neat template trick. It takes up a lot of time in the beginning, but once you get it set, it's actually pretty easy. I'm going to do mine the long way and the hard way. That way you'll take her class next month. I'm going to do initials. I'm going to click here, assign field to the seller. I'm going to scroll down, click initials, seller, assign field. There's a way to copy and paste these also. You learn those in Cheryl's class. I'm doing it the long, old-fashioned way. So I'm just going to do this for just this one document. Click the wrong one. Click on initials, down to the bottom, assign, Cedric, initials. And of course, before you drop these documents in, you want to make sure you've gone through it with your clients, make sure they're happy with it. And then if you guys don't know, y'all always need to have in box number 21, it does not matter if you just have a phone number, an email, or whatever it is, but you must, for your party, have a contact information. That is a requirement, okay? And all I did was just add text there. Sign Cedric. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the date since Cedric's going to accept it today. And then I'm going to add signature right here. I'm going to put Cedric, okay? And they should have added all my information, but on this page, if they haven't, you can go ahead. This is one of the few places you can make changes, and not all parties have to go back and initial the changes. So I'm going to go here, add text, and you need to go ahead and fill out this side completely before you're okay. You can do check marks, but you want this information as complete as possible. When you're putting in offers, you always want this side to be completely filled out. She didn't even bother putting her commissions down there. I'm going to go ahead and be nice. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in there for her. But all this information should be filled out anytime you're submitting documents for the buyers and sellers to sign. I'm going to save it. I'm not going to share it right away because you want to go ahead and knock out any other forms. And so right here, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to do your initials, assign it to Cedric. If you don't assign the fields, then your clients aren't going to, they're going to miss that signature, and then you're going to have to come back and get it later. Okay? So you don't want to mess that up. You'll go ahead, you'll take it, and then you'll send it to your client as a can sign only. Here's your offer that we talked about, or whatever it is. You send it over to them. If I'm getting signatures, I never click on the attach to email function. Okay? So those are basically the basics for DotLoop. I'm going to show you how to find documents now. Okay? So we're just going to do a new document. Just say I have like a commercial lease or whatever it is. Okay? And there are no templates, or, you know, at first I thought I was just doing we're just doing a regular purchase, and then it turned into a different type of purchase or whatever. So we're just going to do new commercial lease. I know name's confusing. Let me rename it so I don't confuse you guys. If you want to rename, you click on view details, and I'm just going to rename it test. Okay. I'm going to go back to the loop, and all the documents are here. So let's just say this is, say, a farm and ranch. Okay. I'm not going to use the 1 and 4. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to archive it, and I'm going to go to add document and templates. Okay. So I know that most of the contracts, they're going to be in the Texas Realtors Interactive Forms. So I'm going to click here, and I need a farm and ranch. So I'm going to click on Texas Realtors Interactive. I'm going to type in farm, and there you go. You have a listing agreement and the contract. So I'm actually putting in an offer. So I'll get the contract, I'll hit copy, and ta-da, it pops up right at the top. You go in there, you fill it out as is. If you guys have a contract right now and you need the COVID-19 extension, and then you also need the amendment, you're going to go to add document again. Okay. You're going to go to COVID-19 addendum. You're going to hit copy there. You're going to hit OK. And then you're going to go back into templates, and you can go to commonly used extra documents. The amendment is there. It's right here, the third one down. Or you can go to the interactive form, and you can type in the word amendment. There you go. And so finding these forms is all about the keywords. Okay. When you open up the forms, you always want to put in your person's name. I don't have any roles or anybody right here, but you want to go ahead, go down to the bottom and assign your signatures. If there is no names in here, you can just simply click on it, go to the top, find your buyers, click on their name, and go to the top, or find your seller's name, and that's how you would do these forms. Okay, so you have 2 of them. If you're going to do the COVID-19, there's a pretty good chance you'll need an amendment. You fill those out completely, you hit share, and you're set. A lot of you guys, if y'all need to do like a repair request, and you have 5 pages of repairs that you want to request, you can just simply do C Schedule A, attached. And then you can open up a Word document, type in Schedule A, and turn it into PDF, upload it, and then add signature boxes. So I think those are most of the loops. How to change PDF to Word document, fillable files. Let me see if I can. I'm just gonna do this. I think it was a pre-approval letter. Say you have the pre-approval letter. Just pretend this is just a regular PDF file. If you wanted to add text, you can. You know, you can type in whatever you want. Typically, I don't create. The only thing I ever really create in or type in here is just name, email addresses, and stuff like that. You can add signatures to anything. So you can create a PDF file and a Word file, turn it into PDF, then drop it into DotLoop, and then add a signature box wherever you want it to add. You can just drag it all over and just drop it, assign the field, and get people to sign it for you. Okay, so I think those are, that's navigation through your DotLoop. I think I've covered everything. Does anybody have any questions? Hopefully this was helpful. Let's see, okay, Rachel Williams, please send me an email and to lisacarnley.com, lisacarnley@gmail.com. I will set you up a premium account. If you accidentally add text. Oh, okay. So Jennifer Meyer, if you accidentally add text and you want to delete it, and you've gone and you've already started doing other things and you don't need it, simply click back on whatever it is, and you see this little X button right here, right up top where it says remove fields. You just hit the X button and it deletes it. Like right here, this box, I didn't need it there. I'm going to click on the X button and it deletes it. Okay? And then, yes, Cheryl said you can add signature and you can sign now anytime. If there's something you need to sign, just go ahead and hit sign now. Carla, I never email the documents to myself. I always check the documents first. You don't have to email it to yourself. Some other platforms you do to get a copy of it. Here you don't have to. As soon as everybody executes, it actually sends out a confirmation to all parties and says, hey, this document has been executed. So fill and sign. Does it allow you to have a, no. Okay, so if you are a seller in your own transaction and you're also the agent, you need to set the account that you're using as an agent needs to be your agent account, and then you need to set up another email for yourself as a seller's. DotLoop does not let the agent ever sign for the seller or for yourself as a seller. There is a way to do it. Cheryl can teach you that, but if you are your own person in your own transaction, you want to send it to a different email address. So make sure you just set yourself up as another email, send it to the other email just as you would as your client. What if you have two signers but one email? You need to help your clients create a new email address, Carla. It needs to be two different emails. Okay, I think I answered all the questions. Does all of this, hopefully this helps out. You guys, most of my trainings, I like to talk to everybody. So if you have questions, you can unmute yourself. And if you don't, I'm about to talk to you guys real quick about virtual tours and what I'm doing with them right now. And it's actually helping. I actually picked up 3 buyers and a listing in the last couple of days. And so I'm trying to reroute them to my team. You can use the same phone numbers, but you need 2 different emails, Ed. Okay, does anybody have any questions at all? Let me see if I can unmute you guys. Okay, I'm unmuting everybody. Okay, well, I can't unmute. If you guys want to talk to me, just unmute yourself and talk to me. Okay, well.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi. Okay, so I did a recording yesterday, and it got deleted off Facebook. So I want to tell you guys again, on top of the virtual open houses, you guys can do virtual tours. So I have a client that is getting relocated. Hold on, let me answer Michelle. I have a client in Alabama that's getting relocated here that was referred to me, and actually now she and one of her good friends is also relocating. So I have 2 relocations that is both coming to Houston. And I said, look, don't come in here just to look for homes right now, because you know, we're on kind of temporary, let's stay at home and work. And so what we've done is we've set up not just virtual open houses, but virtual tours. We're actually setting up appointments and saying, hey, we're going to do a virtual tour of your property. We're getting permission from the listing agent, and we're going to walk the property. So we found like 30 properties. I'm not going to go virtual touring 30 properties. So we broke it down to actually only 3 properties. I asked her all the questions. I'm real picky. I tell my clients, I was like, there's 200 properties that matches what you need, but I'm not going to send them all to you. I want to be more specific. So we broke it down to lot size, number of garages, rooms, like very, very specific. And we found 3 really nice properties. And they're like in the $500,000 range or whatever. So we have an appointment at 3 today. And what we're going to do is she's going to get on the phone, and we're going to get on the phone, and we're going to tour the neighborhood, drive around, show her what the neighborhood looks like, and then we're going to go to the house, open it up, and tour the house with the camera, do the virtual touring. And she's so excited that she's got her friend using me now. So that's really going to put you at the top. And then also yesterday, if you guys have listings, right now you don't have to call a photographer to do it, because times has changed. You know, professional virtual tour is great, but you guys can do you can do your own virtual tour on your own listing and say, hey, check out my listing. You know, it's at 123 Main Street, and then you walk through the house. And if I was you, I'd make sure you know everything on it. Do a recording, upload it to YouTube, name the YouTube, whatever address in whatever community, whatever it is, and then take the link from YouTube and then put it on your listing on the very, very last page of the matrix. There's spots for you to do your virtual tours. This has been out there forever. Most people don't use this function, but if you guys use it, you're going to come out on top. Everybody's going to be like, those people over at Abby, they're up to date. They're changing as this thing's going on. I can tell you there are other companies that aren't doing any trainings to teach your agents how to adjust. We're trying to do our very, very best to help you guys out. So hopefully those 2 tips help out. Virtual tour later. Keith Courtney here. Keith, could you drop your email address in here? He used to work with Redfin. He is now not working anymore. I think Redfin and some of the other iBuyer services, they're no longer doing any kind of listings or anything. I think they put a hold on theirs. So you guys can take advantage of the situation. Keith worked with Redfin. Keith, can you drop your email in here for everybody? And y'all can reach out to him and talk to him about virtual tours. There you go. So just Don't just do virtual open houses, do virtual tours. If you have clients that are like, I really want a home, but I really don't want to go out, um, do the virtual tours. Go out there by yourself. It actually, you're safer that way. You know, make sure you have hand sanitizer, wipe down everything that you're touching, and wear gloves. Make sure you're only doing these on vacant and empty houses. Okay? So I do things a little bit differently. I do like talking to you guys. So if anybody has any questions, I really miss y'all. You,
Can you hear me?
yes, I can. Who's this?
It's Jackie. My only question is I have one letter that I need to fix. So if I go into share documents and then I just do the can fill in sign so that my seller can just change one letter in her name, will that let her go ahead and like change the letter?
When she goes to hit sign, it's going to ask her how she would like her signature, and she can edit it that way.
No, no. I spelled her name wrong. I've spelled her name right in all the documents. It's just on one document, the listing, I think. The listing doc. Remember where I put the name at the top?
Yeah, the listing document, so you don't have to worry about that. We can, that document is for file, and I can show you
Okay.
how to correct that in a little bit, okay?
Okay, not a problem. Then I'll just leave that alone.
Okay, perfect. Does anybody else have a question? Oh, yeah, Keith is an Abbey real estate agent. That's why he's here with us right now. Yes. Does anybody else have any questions? I hope this was useful. Cheryl does teach a really nice class on the third week, guys. Y'all can log in, and she actually breaks down the templates and everything, but I just wanted to show you guys the basics and how to find all your documents and how to find actually those new forms. All right. Okay, well, nobody has questions for me. Y'all can go ahead and log off. Have a good day. I'm kicking everybody off. Let me see. I don't even know how to do this. Oh, we have class tomorrow and Friday, by the way. Have a good day. There you go. In. Perfect. Yes. Nope, I didn't end it.